I heard the stories of the pains of how people were tortured in these places. I never believed it until I saw. And when I saw, I couldn't unsee it.
It's so important for people to understand colonization in order to understand what's happening in the world. And here in Palestine, it's happening now.
So how does the world completely turns a blind eye to the Israeli continuous violence and sees Israel as the victim? This is the big question.
I'm not pro-Palestinian, but I'm pro-truth. And the truth is, the Palestinians have been oppressed and suppressed and murdered and controlled and dispossessed for decades. That's just the truth. There's no post-traumatic stress disorder here because the trauma is never post.
You are one of the main characters of the documentary and you are telling a really important story. Can you share with us how started your journey?
My first memories of occupation were from the first Intifada. We were just back in Palestine and I was around 4 or 5 years old, and I remember people running around our house and being chased by soldiers. My questions to my mother were always, where's my grandfather? Because I really wanted family. Half of my family was in Jordan and we weren't allowed to go see them because of the occupation. So I knew that something was taken from me at a very young age. And then it geared up to the second Intifada, and that's when I really started going to the first protests, when I started seeing the images of what the Israelis were doing. We would go out from school. I would escape from school to go to protests. What I used to do at protests was basically chant. Everybody would be throwing rocks, but I realized very early on that I wouldn't hit that far. And then the second time I went when my mother wanted to show me the musical protests, and that's what I talk about in the film. And that was my first detention. And I hadn't done anything. I was just grabbed, beaten up. And when I reached the maskesiya, the interrogation center, you could see bruises all over my body. So the interrogators were trying to make sure to pressure me, to slap me, so that I would sign that I was not beaten inside the prison and I wasn't beaten outside. I was like, okay, what do you want me to say? I fell down in the street and I came to you? Okay, I fell down in the street. Whatever I can do in order to get out of this hellhole. And it was terrifying. And that was the first experience. The second experience was terrifying. I was a journalist.
There's been clashes in the old city of Jerusalem. There's been clashes here where we are now, Ras Al Amud.
You kill people in a war. That's what happens. Everywhere, look around the world. Yeah, people get killed.
And that's why.
That's fine. That's a war.
But you're killing Palestinians today.
We're not killing them for nothing.
It's happening.
Are we just killing them for nothing?
Yeah.
When the soldiers took me at the checkpoint, I was just sitting there and praying, please don't take me to the maskesiya. Can you take me anywhere else? Please just take me somewhere else. Because I was really terrified of going back to that place. I was picked up at a checkpoint where I was stripped, blindfolded, and taken to the same Russian compound, maskesiya. They put a ski mask on you so you don't see anything and just hear them, and they're pushing you around until I got to the interrogator. I was 20 when I went the second time, and it was horrific, and I had suffered years after that from trauma. Can you imagine what our children are going through in these places?
In 2012, your spinal cord was damaged as a result of harsh intervention by Israeli soldiers, which left you paralyzed. Can you tell us about that day?
We were tear gassed, we were beaten every single week, and the village was terrorized. All of the children in that village had been either arrested or injured. So the commander kept hitting me with sticks and they couldn't stop me, and I was just filming them hitting. I had a scarf on, so one soldier pulled me from the scarf and the other dropped my leg, so I was lynched, and my neck was broken. The process of the injury itself wasn't as traumatic as when I discovered that it caused paralysis in my body. In Israeli doctors and everybody said the same thing. I sent my papers also to doctors abroad, and everybody was like, oh, spinal cord injury, it does not, it doesn't heal. Khalas, it's cut. And I couldn't accept it. I wouldn't accept it. Just the idea of being in the wheelchair was terrifying to me, and I started searching for other ways. The first thing for me was the return to converse with God, and I had cut off that for years. And the first thing I did was ask for help from God. And I was like, God, there's nothing in the world that I can do except for ask you for help. So help me. And the help, alhamdulillah.
فيك روحي فلتتجلى فيك سمائي فلتتجلى يا إلهي.
The main thing for me was to break the barrier of hate and anger, because every time I would sit and try to like even meditate or try to activate my healing powers, I would get so angry at what happened to me. And it was only after I reached a point of forgiveness that I was able to let go of the hate, let go of the anger, let go of what happened to me, stop blaming, stop asking why this happened to me. And I just meditated and prayed that it will be exactly as I wanted it to be, and I will walk. And in 3 days I walked. We don't ask for people, you know, we've finished this chapter of the Palestinians pleading for the world to come and rescue us. We can rescue ourselves if you at least stop supporting the machine, you know? If the machine is ostracized, then we can keep going, because nothing in the world is going to stop the people in Jerusalem. Nothing in the universe will stop them. But we need you. We need you, if you can't be our voice, just to at least not put a penny that goes to the bullet that shoots our children.